Well, howdy folks. Behind me is my 2007 Lexus LX 470, aka a 100 series Land Cruiser, aka the greatest SUV of all time ever. Now recently we've done a lot of work to this vehicle, the front differential, fully rejuvenating that. Before that, we did a timing belt, water pump, the whole 9 yards, along with several other odds and ends. Of course, oil change, etc., all to culminate into allowing this vehicle to be completely ready to rip across country to drive out to Glacier National Park and then up to Banff National Park. But nonetheless, it is an old girl and it did just turn over 264,000 miles on the clock. With most vehicles, you'd be crazy to venture across country with that kind of mileage on a vehicle. With this thing, nah, she's still getting broken in. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do a quick trip summary. This is basically throwing it way back to the humble beginnings of Fun Ahead TV. Very beginning of Fun Ahead TV, my purpose for the channel was to tell people about great driving roads anywhere in the world. Now, of course, in this particular case, we covered a lot of different roads on this trip, so I'm not gonna go into heavy detail about these roads. This is more about the journey along the way. Nonetheless, there's some pretty epic footage that you're about to see from this trip summary. This trip is not only going to be going across just about the entire United States, but a decent bit of Canada, many miles of roads to cover, and many awesome adventures along the way. So come along with me on this journey as we recap this trip in the old school Fun Ahead TV style.
Rippin' on tearing. The rippin' and the tearing.
This is an aspen. You can tell that it's an aspen tree because of the way it is.
Well, folks, and there you have it. The trip ended up being just over 5,100 miles. It would have been significantly longer, however, unfortunately, we could not venture up into Jasper National Park from Banff due to the forest fires that were going on up there. It is a super duper bummer of a situation. We really, really do wish all of the people of Jasper the best. But on a lighter note, we did have a wonderful time on the road trip. Like I said, this trip covered about 2 weeks, 6 days of which were travel days, 3 days out, 3 days back. And I gotta tell you, what an awesome journey it was. And that's the greatest part about a road trip. I'm sure I don't need to tell many of you or try to convince you to go on a road trip. Sure, you can fly somewhere and you get there much more quickly, but all you do, at least all I do when I'm on a flight, is just count down the seconds until I'm off that super overcrowded plane. Road tripping, while it does take a lot longer to get to your destination, it makes the entire trip about the journey, especially when your destination is a journey in itself. So the entire trip ends up becoming a journey, and you really do get to see and be fully immersed in so many parts of the country that you don't normally get to be in, and probably a lot of areas of the country that you haven't been to before. Anyway, you're probably wondering, how did the Land Cruiser do? Well, over the 5,100 plus miles, it encountered exactly 0 issues. It is extremely bulletproof reliable, unsurprisingly. It is overbuilt to the nines, and it's a Toyota product, all of which culminates into it being an extremely reliable vehicle. Gas mileage wise, you're probably wondering, okay, these things are known for maybe kind of sipping down the fuel. How did it do? Well, I'll have you know, over the course of the trip, I averaged about 17.5 mpgs, which for you 100 series Land Cruiser owners out there, you'll know is pretty dang good. That's going between 70 and 80 most of the way. I think a decent bit of that had to do with these brand new tires, which I slightly overinflated, so we had a little bit less rolling resistance over those 5,000 plus miles. So as you can see, she is extremely dirty, in need of a car wash, and now in need of a minor service because, well, we went through the entire service interval of this oil change. Nonetheless, the Land Cruiser is back home. It got us back safely. It carried all of our luggage, and it was our vehicle for myself, my wife, and my family that met us out there the entire time. It took us to all the hikes, all the viewpoints, and everything thanks to its 3 rows of people capacity. And of course, reliably did so the entire time. Ah, greatest freaking vehicle ever. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and call this video here. If you enjoyed going along on this journey with me, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It helps out my channel significantly. I appreciate you very much. And let me know down in the comments, have you ever been to Glacier or Banff before? And if you've been to both, which one do you like better? So, Thank you so much for tuning into Funhead TV. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Yes, you, I'm looking right at you, and I will see you all in the next episode. See ya.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see even more great Funhead TV content, please click the link right here. I'll see you over there.
Ripping, tearing, the ripping and the tearing.
Because of the way it is.
AKA a one here. Wow, good start. Sweet.